Hi guys, and welcome back to Old School Gunners live stream Arsenal season so far 21-22. Thank you guys. Welcome back to my channel. I'm absolutely delighted to say that the main man has joined me again. The real Old School Gunner, Warren, is back from Warren's Team Talk. He's come to share his opinions on a few things. We're going to talk football, guys, and we're going to discuss a few things on a positive note. When possible. The most positive thing that happened is Granny Xhaka is out for 3 months. Yeah, man. I tell you, I'm not anymore, lads. I have a wife, but I had a whiskey last night. You know what I mean? This is for you, Xhaka. I had a whiskey for the guy that injured him. Anyway, we're not going to be too negative, but I'm happy Xhaka is not playing in the team.
Me too, man.
Make no bones about it. I just want to start off by thanking everybody for your continued support since I started my channel in 2018. Thank you for all your likes, your subscribes, and your comments. And thank you to this man beside me. I appreciate it, Warren. I'm just going to pick up his channel. It's Warren, and the channel is Warren's Team Talk. He does regular uploads, and he does like the Groundhopper series. He's been to many stadiums, guys, throughout his life, and he tells his experiences, not just at the big clubs, guys, all the clubs. It's not just Liverpool, United, Arsenal, Chelsea. If you can consider us a big club, it's every club. So I'll just give him a second to pitch his channel, to talk a bit to you guys, and we're going to take it from there. It's all yours, Warren.
Thanks very much, Old School. So, yeah, I've got a YouTube channel as well. And as Old School says, I do regular uploads. And I've done one where I looked at who was England's most successful football club. Recently, I'm doing one. I've got a series where I look at my experiences of supporting Arsenal from 1972, which was the first time I ever went. And then, as Old School mentioned, there is a series called The Groundhopper Diaries, because as well as going to watch Arsenal matches, I've been all over the country watching different games and different sides and stuff. So that's really good. Watch out for the one where I talk about what happened when we went to Rochdale, because that was an absolute nightmare. But anyway,
I'm going to watch that later.
Yeah, I've got a new series coming out. It starts, I think, probably going to be tomorrow or Sunday. And it's all about Scottish football. And it's called Scotland's Most Successful Football Club. It's very similar to the English one. It's going to go through all the clubs that have had any sort of success and talk about what they did and what they didn't do and stuff. So, yeah, that's basically my channel in a nutshell, really.
It sounds interesting. Yeah, you've got a couple of plans. Yeah, I like the plan you have outline, the Scottish plan. I like that. I like the way you have these. I don't know. Do you realize it yourself? But you have a lot of good ideas for your channel. You have a lot of good ideas. You have a lot of ideas.
The most successful football club thing came out of an argument in a pub.
Of course, it's Celtic.
Years and years ago, we was in the pub, me and a load of guys. And as we did, we started chatting about football. And I was going, the most successful football club in the world, without any shadow of a doubt, is Real Madrid. And he said, why'd you work that out? I said, well, look at all the European Cups and whatnot they've won. He's going, no. He says, it's Aston Villa. I said, what? He said, yeah, it's Aston Villa, because they went in the European Cup once and they won it once. So therefore, they're the most successful team. And I was thinking, no, that's mad. So we had like this really heated discussion about it.
I think Arsenal are.
Yeah, Arsenal's up there, mate.
We're up there, man. We're number one.
Yeah, we're the third best team in England, historically. Whether we'll stay in that position much longer after what happened yesterday.
We're sliding.
Yeah, exactly. But, you never know, he might address it, but I'm not confident, man. So that's how it got started. And, I'm going to do one in the future at some point about Europe. And I wanted to do one about England, and I wanted to do one about Scotland because of my heritage. So yeah, it's interesting, and it's really good research in it, right? Because you find loads of things you didn't necessarily know. Like for example, rugby.
Yeah.
When they score a try, the reason it's called a try is because they get the opportunity to kick for an extra 2 points to the goal.
To try, yeah.
So that is why it's called a try, because they're going to try to score a goal.
Yeah.
So they never got any points for scoring the try. They only got the points for kicking the goal. So that's why. Because like rugby and football came from the same game.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing is like fascinating, really.
Yeah. Like people, myself included, a lot of people out there, we actually don't know much about the rules like that. We don't know much about the heritage, about the history. So I know what you're saying. It can be interesting then when you go back and look and you find out something yourself that you weren't aware of, that you didn't know about. And it is of interest. I mean, I like the ideas for your channel, Warren. I'm going to speak openly, you know me, I talk straight. I like the ideas for your channel, Warren. I like the way you have these different things. I come on, I do my bit of a live stream. I talk about what's happening in the season, and that's cool. But you're kind of a bit more, you see the bigger picture. It's interesting stuff what you're talking about. It is interesting for football fans of sport. Very interesting.
The thing is, when I started it, I didn't want it to be only focused on Arsenal because the reason is I saw all these Arsenal channels. There's loads of them, and I was thinking, this is a really crowded marketplace. Yeah, I want to talk about Arsenal because it's my club, but I want to branch it out a bit more, and make it a bit more. Yeah, exactly. And I thought that was a good way to start it off. And I want to do more interviews like I did with you, and things like that. So yeah, it is interesting. And I found out as well, like when I did the Arsenal bit, about what happened when we got promoted after finishing 5th, and it should have only been like the top 3 that got promoted, but there was some shady dealings and goings on, and the whole thing is like really shrouded in mystery, and it's really dodgy.
That's the rivalry with Tottenham, right?
Yeah,
that's what that stemmed from. Yes, where that stemmed from.
We fucked up Barnsley as well, but they don't have a problem with us like Tottenham do. Do you know what I mean? So I've got a couple of Barnsley supporters following my channel, right? And they don't give me any hate.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But it's mad.
Forgive and forget. Yeah, forgive and forget.
The history of Arsenal, man, it's a madness. But anyway, I'm
just going to draw attention to Stapes' comment. Stapes has joined us from the 3 Pointers. OSG and Warren just finished the 3 Pointers meeting. We're going to have a little meeting of our own later, me and Warren, mano, you know what I mean? So we're having meetings too, Stapes. I'm just going to big up his channel. It's 3 Pointers TV. Check it out, guys, if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel. It's a very good channel. It's been going about 6 months. And Warren's buddy, and maybe my buddy now, James Dunlop, has put in a comment. Afternoon, lads. Hope you're all well. Good morning, James from Venezuela. It's morning time where I am, but afternoon to Warren is bang on. But it's morning time.
Hey, Jay. Nice to see you, mate. I hope you enjoyed watching Terry get absolutely annihilated the other night. Lee Gunner.
Man.
Absolute class.
I need to watch it. I need to catch up on a few things. I'm going to do it for an hour or two today.
You've got to see
I'm going to watch your one, Warren, and then I'm going to watch some of theirs. Out of interest. I need to check that out. Yeah. I need to check that out. All right. I have a little thing here what we're going to talk about. I have it all planned out, Warren. I have your whole life planned out for you. So no need to worry. I have it all planned out, Warren. I'm going to say jump, and then you ask how high. Okay?
Yes, exactly.
So you say, how high, old school? And I'll tell you how to jump, okay? Okay, let's see. Here we go. This is what we're going to talk about. I think the biggest news, I'm just going to put it up here, the biggest news definitely of the past day or two has been the takeover of Newcastle United Football Club.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to talk a little bit about that then, and then I want Warren's input on it. But, I mean, for any of you who don't know, it's Mohammed bin Salman. He is the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and he is leading a consortium that have taken over the club. Now, they have purchased Newcastle United officially as of yesterday for 305 million, guys. 305 million, okay? They bought it from Mick Astley. He's been in charge for 14 years. He's been the owner. He paid 137 million. He sold it for 305. Not a bad little profit there over the 14 years. He wasn't like that at all. One season after Ashley took over, the fans were already wanted him out because he got rid of the legend that is Kevin Keegan, and the fans did not like that. You know what I mean? Keegan was manager back in the day. Ashley's out after 14 years, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that was outrageous. And the other thing that he did was really bad was that they had, what's that guy's name? Chris Hughton was manager. And they were doing really well in the championship, and he had them playing really, really, really well. And all the fans loved him, like with the style of football and whatnot he was playing.
Yeah.
As soon as he got promoted, they sacked him. They didn't even give him a chance. It was outrageous.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been to that ground, mate. I've been to that ground, and I've seen what those supporters are like, mate. I went to see them play Middlesbrough, right? Middlesbrough went 1-0 up, and then Newcastle equalised, and the whole bloody ground. I thought the roof was going to come off. Like that, it was like 3/4 of the ground, like they were going mental. The noise, it was just unbelievable.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely superb supporters. I really like them. I really do.
It's one city, Warren, and one club. It's that kind of thing going on there. Everybody is for Newcastle. You know, they're all for the Geordies. It's black and white all over. The atmosphere at St. James's Park is incredible. I mean, absolutely rip-roaring. When Les Ferdinand was playing as forward, now I'm going back a while, Les Ferdinand, Alan Shearer, when Norberto Solano was playing, David Ginola, man, they were banging in the goals that season. The season they narrowly lost to United when they were winning and Keegan had a meltdown. Man, they were banging in the goals. Oh, Faustino Asprilla. You know him. Remember these players? I mean, they were absolute animals. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about Mohammed bin Salman, guys. He is the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. All right? The consortium have 250 billion pounds sterling at their disposal. The Crown Prince himself has 13 billion. He's just behind the owner of Manchester City, who has 17 billion. All right? But his family, the whole royal family, the Crown Prince, they have over 1,000 billion. They have 1,200 billion, guys. Okay? Now, if you want to put that up to Queen Elizabeth, she's got 283 million. So let's talk business. They're very rich. The consortium is 250 billion at their disposal. I hope to God for Joe Willock. It's going to be okay for Willock. I hope that Joe Willock, I hope he gets to keep his place and they don't buy some, the thing is they're probably going to like get A-list players. You know what I mean? They're going to buy like top class. I hope Willock gets to keep his place.
I think they need to like take it steady. Right, they try and go and buy 11 A-list players all at once. It won't work. It needs to be done slowly. You try and integrate 11, 16 players all at once into a squad. It's too much. You need to like do 2 or 3 at a time. If it was me, I'd like do the spine first. Goalkeeper, centre back, midfield, and forward. Like them 4 positions. And then build on from there each transfer window, because otherwise it's impossible to handle. But I just want to give a shout out to the Highbury squad. They did this really excellent podcast, I think yesterday, about the Newcastle takeover. They had Warren Barton on there, ex-Maidstone United. And I remember him playing at Maidstone, actually. Ex-Newcastle, Wimbledon and Maidstone United player. There's obviously Kevin Campbell on
Aaron
there.
Martin, yeah.
Yeah, the main woman who presents it, and then this French football expert. And he was talking about Williams Saliba and Guendouzi. And it was a fascinating debate, and they raised some very interesting issues, particularly about this takeover. And there's a lot of question marks about the morality of their owners, like even more than Kroenke. So it's well worth a watch. Give it a watch because it's fascinating. I really, really enjoyed listening to it, to be honest.
Wow. I'll be sure to check that out. There's just a comment from James there. What new fans need to do? Most Everton fans got overexcited with the investment, and look where it got us. Nothing but backwards. That's a good point from James, in fairness.
Yeah, well, they've got Usmanov, haven't they?
Yeah.
They got Usmanov up there, and he's got more wealth than Abramovich.
Yeah, he does.
Right? And we could have had him at Arsenal, and he wanted to pay off the stadium debt. He wanted to invest really heavily in the club, but the club didn't want him.
That's a bad.
And the thing is, he's an Arsenal man. That's the thing. That's what upset me about it.
Yeah, and these guys
they are investing, but they just don't care. They don't care about the club. They're not interested, and that's for me a massive problem. But
the Cronkies are also capitalists. They're looking at the dollars. They're looking at the balance sheet at the end of the season. How much money do I make? Usmanov and Abramovich, in fairness about Chelsea, well, he goes into the changing room. He actually hugs the players. He supports them. He pushes them forward. He gives them that little bit of a kick positively. You know what I mean? He plays an active role. Usmanov the same. It's a pity that didn't work out, but these guys are not capitalists. They're not thinking like Kroenke, how much have I made at the end of the year? I'm sure they are, but to a lesser degree. They actually invest money. They want to see the team successful. Abramovich wanted Chelsea successful. The coach, the players, look how much money he put into the club. Incredible.
The other thing is Kroenke's in serious trouble. Have you heard about this?
The court case?
Yeah, with the NFL. He might have to sell us to pay for the legal expenses.
I think it's in Ohio, is it? Or I think it's the state of Ohio is where it's happening, or Nevada.
Yeah, he did
anyway.
Moving a franchise from one state to another, and he wasn't allowed to do it, and he's getting sued, and it's like it will cost them millions and millions and millions.
Yeah, it's going to be.
One of the franchises are going to have to go, and they think it might be Arsenal. So that'd be a good thing for us, really. It's not because he doesn't pump the money in, because to be fair to him, he does. What I don't like is the fact that he just doesn't take any interest in it. He's not watching what's going on, and therefore these clowns we got at the club are running amok. You know they are, and no one's like reining them in or saying to them, "What the fuck are you doing?" Or it's madness.
We should actually ask Dan Phillips, the US schooner, on the WhatsApp group. We should actually ask Dan what's going on in the US with Kroenke, because he's got his finger on the pulse. Dan has got his finger on the pulse. He's always watching what Stan Kroenke's doing, and because he's in the United States, he knows what time it is. What do you think about this documentary that Arsenal are doing with Amazon? Did you hear about Granit Xhaka, what Granit Xhaka did?
What did he do? What's he done this time? Jesus.
Granit Xhaka has told Amazon he has signed a contract, signed on the dotted line, that they're allowed. Of course, he has this bad injury now. He's out for 3 months. He's allowing them to document his recovery, his rehabilitation from the injury. I mean, is it just me, or does it seem to you too that he's looking for the spotlight? He wants to be the guy in the Amazon documentary. When I heard that rubbish. Oh, man.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Does he really think that people are interested in his recovery?
His knee, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? his knee. Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on swiftly past that.
Yeah, no,
So
exactly.
Newcastle, the word on the street is Newcastle are going to win the Premier League, and they're going to do it in 2 seasons. All right, next. Did you see Mikel Arteta has got Manager of the Month for September, Warren? Huh? What do you think of that, Warren? He's outside London with the Premier League trophy.
That's just put. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Manager of the Month for September.
Let's look at it, right? So from the start of the season, we played Brentford, got spanked. Played Chelsea, got spanked. Played Man City, got spanked. We're lucky to scrape a 1-0 win with a scrambled goal in the penalty area against Norwich, team that's sitting bottom of the table at home, mind. We then went to Burnley, and to be fair, it was a real hard scrap, and we got a 1-0 win from a free kick, right?
Yeah.
Then we went to play Tottenham. The worst Tottenham team, all their Spurs fans are saying it's their worst team in living memory, right? We spanked them 3-1, right? We were 3-0 up at half time, to be fair. Then the second half come, right? The players were tiring, right? Granit Xhaka went down with an injury. Saka has played constantly since God knows when. And all of last season, he's played almost all the time. He hasn't really had a break. Yeah. And then he waits to the 70th minute before he makes a substitution. Right? The Tottenham got themselves back into the game with a goal. Right? We then, thankfully to Aaron Ramsdale, he pulled off a wonder save. Otherwise, it would have been 3-2 with 10 minutes to go. Right? Yeah. Against the worst Tottenham team in living memory. And then it would have been panic stations. Because then their tails would have been up. And it could have ended in a 3-3 draw or even worse. Right? We then go to Brighton. And we got spanked. If they'd had Aubameyang or Lacazette or both in their starting 11, they would have thumped us 5-6-0. No question. Right? We were getting overrun in midfield. If Stapes is watching this, he will tell you I went onto their channel at half time and I was talking about it. And I was saying to them,
they had to watch along.
Yeah, we were getting overrun in midfield, right? They had 5 people in midfield. We had 2, right? And one of them is not. Neither of them are proper holding midfield players, right? We haven't really got a proper holding midfield player. The nearest thing we got to it is Mohamed El Neni and potentially Ainsley. I think Ainsley could do the job, right? Because he's got the right characteristics.
He's better than El Neni, man. He's better than El Neni all day long. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I'd to say in El Neni's defence is he doesn't try and do something he can't. He'll get the ball and then just pass it off to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? And he does work hard, but he hasn't got any talent, and he certainly is not good enough to play for Arsenal, bless him. Right? So, yeah, we got overrun and they absolutely spanked us. Right? People bigging up that Tommy Yasu. Yeah, he had a few good games since he's been at Arsenal. But when we came up against a decent team, the Brighton winger he was up against absolutely destroyed him.
He turned him inside out there. He turned
him inside out, man.
He turned him inside out.
People going on about how, Arteta's fixed the defence. What a lot of utter crap. The amount of shots we got rained in on us. So they had Brighton, right?
I think it was a record.
A team that nearly got relegated last season, by the way, right?
Yeah.
They managed to put 20 shots on us. And this guy's fixed the defence. People were screaming for Unai Emery's head when we conceded 20 odd shots against Watford in his last season at the club. So, you know, I find it amazing. You know, these next few games is going to show, it's going to continue like that as well, because we're going to continually get overrun in midfield, you know?
Absolutely. I agree with you 110%, Warren. The games that are coming up, they're huge games. Those Premier League matches, they're so important. We can actually touch on that now, seeing as we're talking about it a little bit. I have it on the list of what I want to talk about, but we can just talk on it as we're talking about it. We have a bit of a plus in that we're not playing European football. I mean that the team will be a bit rested, but we also have a plus in that our centre-back pairing of Ben White and Gabriel have not been picked this time round for international duty. So they're going to be rested, they're going to be training, and they have that extra bit of time. They have another 2 weeks now, a little bit over 2 weeks just to get ready. A little bit over a week, I mean, just to get ready for those 2 games. Those 2 games, guys, of course, are at home, at the Emirates. First up is Patrick Vieira's side, Crystal Palace. Second up are the Villains and Ollie Watkins. I fear Palace. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm actually afraid when we play them at home. Home advantage counts for nothing. Aaron said, the home game against Spurs, it's one of the worst Spurs teams in living memory. So let's not kid ourselves, guys. Look at what we did against Brighton. It's going to be difficult. And the Villa game, I mean, Ollie Watkins, I don't know. That guy, he is a real handful, man. Watkins is superb. He is absolutely unerring. I saw recently that Lacazette might be leaving the club. There's rumours, and they're saying they might try to get Ollie Watkins or Calvert-Lewin at Everton. There's not a hope in hell we could get those 2 players. I don't know what you think, Warren, but we're being linked to those 2 players to replace Lacazette. Calvert-Lewin was actually the top scorer out of all those players last season. He outscored Lacazette, and he outscored the Aston Villa striker. He outscored him. He outscored Ollie Watkins. So Calvert-Lewin was well on form last season, but he would never come to Arsenal. I mean, let's be fair. We can't get those players. I mean, ridiculous. But let's get back to the Premier League games. How do you see it going against Palace? How do you see it going against Villa?
I'm worried about all of the games moving forward because our midfield, I watched that game really closely against Brighton, and I'm convinced that our midfield is the weakest part of the team, right? And it's pivotal. It's pivotal to the performance of the club, right? Because the midfield is the engine room. It drives everything, right? And it's really weak, right? We're not protecting the back 4 properly with the midfield because we've got no holding midfield player, right? Going the other way, there's no real creativity in the team either. Like Saka looks exhausted and knackered. Emil Smith-Rowe is still struggling to find his feet in the Premier League, right? He's a good young talent and he's a good player.
Very young, guys.
Very young, and he's going to be inconsistent. It's part of his development. The same as is with Saka. Martin Odegaard, I'm not convinced about him, mate. I'm really not. Just based on his stats, like last time he was here, he started fairly well, but the game against Brighton, he got muscle off the ball way too easily.
Easily.
He needs to bulk up, man. So therefore, if we're not creating opportunities for our strikers, like Aubameyang or whoever else is playing up front, we're not going to score goals because our midfield doesn't score. We got hardly anyone in the midfield ever scores, and our strikers aren't getting the chances to score. Chances aren't being created for them. They're not being fed. And the midfield is putting pressure on the defence. And that's unsustainable because at some point it's going to buckle and then it'll break. And it's lucky we've got Aaron Ramsdale and he's barking out instructions and all the rest of it. But if he's
organising the back four,
if that form suddenly starts dipping, we're in trouble, big time. Because we're not scoring and we're conceding 20-odd shots a game. You can't keep going through games hoping not to concede if you're letting that many chances go. If we present Palace and who's the other one? Aston Villa.
Yeah.
If we present those two clubs with the amount of chances that Brighton got and the sorts of chances that Brighton had, we're going to get turned over 2 or 3 because they've got strikers who can score, right? Palace have got Odesan Edouard, right? And Villa have got Ollie Watkins, like you said, and he's a top quality striker. Both of them have got good strikers.
Incredible.
So, if they get those chances, they're going to score. I'm convinced of it, and I'm really, really concerned about that and this business about that where we've turned the corner and all this crap. I can't see it, mate. I can't. I just think that Arteta he's been lucky that those 3-4 games that we've had since the maulings we got at the beginning of the season were against quite weak opposition, because otherwise it would have continued. But that's what I think.
Yeah, James has come in again with another comment there, Warren. Watch out for Palace's counter-attack. That could be your weakness, especially in midfield. Same with Villa.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Palace, I mean, I'm from the old school, like Warren. I'm the old school Arsenal. But we are definitely lightweight. Like Warren said, Odegaard has to bulk up a bit. How easily was he pushed off the ball against Brighton? I'm from the old school. The team has got no Martin Keowns. The team has got no Tony Adams. The team has got no Ray Parlours or, remember, Emmanuel Petit. He was just a monster in the midfield. He could do it when required, whatever. He was very versatile. We have no beasts like that anymore that would actually take the ball and the man and you name it. These guys were, and they played fair, hard but fair. They won the ball 9 times out of 10. Palace, I don't know what it is, but of course I'm an Arsenal fan and I always like to think that, we are a strong team and we have a team of men out there, but Palace are just like Brighton as well. They wiped the floor with us in the physical side of the game. And the physical side of the game is not the be-all and end-all, but in that 10-minute period when it gets rough, there's always that 10-minute period, it starts to get physical. We were just blown away. I mean, and Odegaard, like Warren said, Odegaard is a nice guy. But sometimes when you don't have the ball, you have to be a bit nasty. You know what I mean? He's too pretty. He has to go to ground and slide in and put the ball out. Tomiyasu, in fairness, he did that against Spurs. He got stuck in. He put his body on the line and he went in. He put the ball out when necessary. Nothing fancy, man. He just put it out over the line. Job done. He never let them get in behind him, in fairness to Tomiyasu.
That's the thing I like about
him. We need more of that.
He will stand up for himself and scrap. The issue I've got with him is I'm not sure he's got the quality.
He's 6'3" now.
To be good. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's another issue. We're going to lose him. Because he's already voicing concerns about his lack of game time. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
We're going to lose him. I'm telling you. Because this clown of a manager we got, he can't manage properly. He's not competent. He's not competent to be manager. I mean, if I was in a position of serious seniority at that club, I would be looking to do a competency test on him, because all aspects of the job he's failing on, right? He can't manage people properly. Like the man management is absolutely appalling, right?
He's not personal with the players, you know.
It's inconsistent as well. Look at the way compare the way he handled Granit Xhaka and Nicolas Pepe, right? One got sent off for like squaring up to somebody, and Granit Xhaka told fans to F off, throw the armband on the ground, and then grab someone by the throat. He never apologised, and he's straight back in the team.
Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
Outrageous. And then, you got Guendouzi as well, and what he did. And to be honest with you, one of the first things I'd do if I got appointed there as manager was to bring him back and sit him down and sort all this out, because Mikel Arteta, the problem is his ego's getting in the way and he's got his favourites. And that's what I'm saying about Kroenke. He's not there observing what's going on and like calling people out over their behaviour and what they're doing in their roles and how incompetent they are. Right? Because if he was, he'd be saying to Arteta, why are you doing this? What's going on with that one? Why is this one you doing that with this one, but someone who does exactly the same or less, you're not treating them the same? It's just madness. Do you know what I mean? Because if he was any other industry and he was managing people like that, he would be having grievance procedures coming out of his bloody ears. People would be throwing in grievance procedures all over the shop against him because he's shit manager. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's appalling. Yeah. You know, the sooner we get him out of the club, the better, because it's a massive problem. Massive problem.
Yeah, I've saw it myself about Martinelli. I'd like to thank Sadavis for that comment, and thank you for tuning in. Thanks also to James for all your comments, guys. I appreciate it. Myself and Warren appreciate it. But I've seen that now. Martinelli came back from the Olympic Games. He won the gold medal with Brazil in Tokyo. He came back. He fully expected to have more of a role to play. And I did too for him. I mean, we played him in some tough matches where he's been really put under immense pressure. It's been hard for him, for Nketiah. Whoever was in the forwards, it was difficult. Yeah, the team wasn't playing well. The team wasn't creating chances. There was no service up to him. You can't expect him to do it all on his own, but he's a player I like and I admire, and I think he's got ability. The guy is big and strong, Warren, and he's young. He's fast. He's no Nicolas Anelka. Let's not kid ourselves.
How many games has he actually played this season? I think he's played one game in that Carabao Cup match against Wimbledon. It's a joke, right?
I think he played
that goal, that wonder goal he scored against Chelsea at the Bridge, and you never see him again.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that Arteta doesn't rate him. And that's another issue with Arteta is his judgment. I just sit there sometimes and I'm thinking, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Like that Europa League semi-final, and he goes in, bearing in mind our midfield players don't score goals, right? And he decides to play with a false nine. What possessed him to do that? It's not like we're Man City where their midfield players like chip in with goals all the time. I think our midfield, God knows how many goals it scored last year, but if it was more than 5 for the whole season amongst the whole midfield, I'd be surprised. It's an absolute joke. He hasn't got a clue.
No.
And whoever made the decision to give him the job, they should be sacked as well, because it's laughable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It really is. It's just unbelievable. And then you get all these people on all these podcasts like trying to defend him. That's what I was saying to you yesterday, and I was going on about all this Arteta nonsense. Because as far as I'm concerned, it is nonsense. People like getting clouded and getting dizzy because we beat Tottenham 3-1 and thinking, oh, he turned the corner. No, the man, he's not competent to do the job. And all this crap about how he's fixed the defence. He has not fixed the defence. It's a fucking shambles. You cannot tell me they fixed the defence when he's conceding 20-plus shots a game. It's madness.
There's holes all over I mean, like, you got to look at it like this too, Warren. How do I put this? I don't know, do you watch Lee Gunner, yeah? I've been watching some of his stuff.
Yeah.
Before the whole Chig incident, of course, rest in peace, Chig. Before the whole Chig problem, he was talking about exactly what you said. People got so carried away on social media, the plastic fans, with the win. At the end of the day, we only got 3 points. At the end of the day, we were still in 10th. At the end of the day, we've only scored 5 goals in 7 games.
I know, this is it. That's the other thing. 5
goals in 7 games, guys. 3 of them came in 1 game.
Yeah. So therefore,
Martinelli isn't being played. They're not playing Martinelli. I don't understand it.
So there's 2 goals, right? If you take the Tottenham game out of it, that's 2 goals in 6 games, right? And only 1 from open play. That is absolutely shocking. It's just crazy. Honestly, it really is.
The other one was a free kick. Lucky one. Pepe, I mean, I don't want to round on Pepe now, but why does Pepe, I mean, okay, he got left out the last couple of games, but what is the story with Pepe? I mean, he couldn't score and I'm not going to finish that sentence, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Pepe couldn't score just this comment from James Dunlop, Arteta should have just let Martinelli go. If he's not in his plans, why keep hold of him? Same with Van de Beek at Man United. Exactly. This man, James, knows his football. You know your football, James. Respect, man. I like the fact you're tuning in, but I like the fact you know what you're talking about, man. Exactly. He's a young player. It's like I always say about Arteta. The wrong manager is in charge, in my opinion. With all due respects to you, James, and Everton, I know he was a player for Everton, but he is the wrong man at the job, at the helm for Arsenal. Players like Saka, players like Martinelli and Smith Rowe, he's not getting the best out of them. A better manager, for example, Conte, I know that's not going to happen, but Conte is the example I always use. He will get the maximum out of these players. And Conte is the kind of guy that will actually put his arm around the player. He's not afraid of this personal connection. Arteta has no personal, like you said, with the man management. He's bad at the man management. He used to have a joke with the lads. Martin Keown, players like that, they used to rip Arsene Wenger. He could laugh at himself. He would laugh at himself in training and he would laugh with the lads. Arteta's like, I don't know, man. And he's wrecking the young players. I mean, Martinelli is a player with a lot of ability. Like James commented, guys. See the comment for says, you either let the guy go or you put him in your plans. But you don't let him kind of in limbo and you don't waste his life. I mean, he's a young player. Life is short. He should be out there doing stuff. His development is being stunted. A better manager could do better with the squad we have. And Nicolas Pepe, that guy couldn't score in a... You know what I mean by that? Pepe, man, his end product. You know how much we paid on him? 72 million. 2 years
on
ago.
Pepe, though, right?
We need goals, man. We need goals.
That man, that Pepe, he... Of all the players in our club, he's the second highest in terms of goal contributions. I'm not talking about just goals scored, but assists. He's the second highest in the club. Take him out of the equation, and we'll be probably bottom of the table. It's just mad. And then I've just pulled up the stats from the Burnley game. That's what I was looking at my phone for, right? Burnley, we conceded 13 shots, right? Thankfully, Burnley only got 3 of them on target, right? 13 shots against a team that are in the bottom 2 in the Premier League. And and he's fixed the defence. Right,
Been lucky. We were lucky along the way too. Yeah, we were lucky in some of those games. Nothing to do with Arteta. It was just pure luck.
Yeah. And this is what I'm talking
about.
Man.
He played the same team till he's blue in the face, man. He keeps playing the same team sometimes when players aren't performing.
Right, and I keep hearing certain ex-players. I'm not going to name them, but anyone who watches Arsenal podcasts will know exactly what I'm talking about. Certain ex-players coming on these podcasts and saying, "Yeah, it's the players." Right,
Ray Parlour.
Huh?
Ray Parlour.
No, it's not Ray Parlour. Cheers, lads. No, it's not Ray Parlour, but it keeps coming on all these podcasts saying, "Yeah, it's the players." Right? Okay. Let's just assume.
Is it Paul Merson? Paul Merson? No,
not Merson. Merson is full.
Merson thinks we're going to get top 4. Merson thinks we're going to get into the top 4.
He's obviously been smoking something, right?
Paul, what century? What century is he talking about?
No.
What year are you talking? What season are you talking about, Paul?
No,
I think he's back on the drink, Warren. I think he's back on the drink. We're not going to get top 4, man.
Let's just assume. Let's just assume it is the players, right? If it's the players that's causing the problem and the reason the team aren't performing, right? If that's the case, right, why is the manager still picking them?
Exactly.
Why is the manager still picking players that aren't performing and doing it on the field?
Oh, man.
Why is he doing that?
He changes it.
I'm telling you, Warren, it's not the players, it's the manager.
Warren, I think James Dunlop is rumbled you, Warren. I think James Dunlop is on to you. Wait for the next comment, Warren. 3, 2, 1. Ah! He's got you, Warren. I think he got you, Warren. Did he get you, Warren? James coming up with the goods, man. Good luck, James.
It could well be, but I'm not okay. I'm not going to name names, right? But it keeps coming on these podcasts saying, "Yeah, it's the players." If it was the players, and let's say it was, right, just for the sake of argument, then my question is this: why does the coach keep playing them? Why does he keep picking them to come in the team if they're not performing?
With Granny Xhaka. Xhaka would be playing if he wasn't injured, Warren.
Yeah.
Xhaka would be playing.
I know he would.
Xhaka should be making the tea. You know what I mean? That's what he should be doing. He should be making the tea at halftime. Xhaka would be playing every single game if it wasn't for an injury.
How long is he's out for?
3 months.
January. So
January, November,
January, right? In
February, he'll be back. February.
Yeah. So, in January we've got the AFCON, right?
Yeah.
Which means we're going to lose Aubameyang, we're going to lose El Neni, and we're going to lose Thomas Partey and Pepe, right? Pepe. That's like 3 of those players are main players in our team, right? 2 of them midfield players, right? That means we're going to have Sammy Lokonga and Ainsley. If one of those 2 players pick up an injury, then what?
It's okay, Warren, because Xhaka has been promoted to assistant manager.
But seriously, mate.
That wouldn't surprise me now if Xhaka was like interim assistant manager.
Yeah, but what we're going to do if Ainsley or Lokonga pick up an injury? We'll have 1. We're going to pick someone out of the youth team, or what are we going to do?
Yeah, we'll have to. I mean, we need to buy players. We need to strengthen. We need a DM. We need a striker. I still think we need to buy
another 2 midfield players, right?
Yeah.
2.
A striker. We need a goal scorer.
Because we haven't got sufficient cover in the team. We have spent £150 million in the summer on this squad, and yet still we haven't got sufficient cover. How the hell does that happen? It's madness. What the hell's going on at this club? It's like a massive an out of control car crash. There's bloody wreckage all over the place and a trail of destruction everywhere that man goes.
Just a comment coming in there from the old school gunner.
He's saying Arteta out.
Yeah, just a comment from me there. Just at the. You want to comment, Warren? I can put it up for you if you want. All right. I have the power, Warren. I have the power. Okay, James, you need a proper goal scorer and 2 proper midfielders. Exactly what Warren was saying. I mean, if you and James got together, maybe you could coach Arsenal. I don't know. We could definitely do with some wise heads out there.
Well,
I honestly think that.
I'll tell you a story, right? Years ago, I applied for the job at Nottingham Forest.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
The manager's job.
Yeah, and I got a letter back from them saying, thank you very much for your interest in the post. As you know, Stuart Pearce is taking control of first team affairs. However, if in the future things change, we'll contact you. Serious, I've got the letter. I'll send it to you on the WhatsApp group so you can have a look.
Send it on the WhatsApp. That's incredible.
Yeah, it is, honestly.
And they were Premier League. Yeah, they were Premier League.
Huh? There we go. It was like in the days before the Premier League. It was like in the first.
Yeah, but they were top division. Yeah.
And wow. I decided to put an application in. Yeah, I did, James. I did, mate. I did really put an application in, and I've done it a few times. I applied for the England job. I also applied. I applied for what other jobs did I apply for? I can't remember. I applied for a couple of other ones as well, but the Notts Forest were the only ones who bothered to write back to me.
Oh.
You know, but it was quite funny when I got the letter. I couldn't believe it because I wasn't expecting it.
Mm. Oh, old school gunner again. Watch out, Arteta. Warren is gunning for you. Who thinks that Warren should apply? You should actually do this, Warren. This would be interesting. Apply for the Arsenal job. A formal application like you did in Nottingham Forest.
No, actually.
No.
Bear
with me now. That would be interesting to see what their reply is. If you get a reply letter, it would be very interesting. Maybe you could do that. What do you think?
Who was it? It was manager. It was before Unai Emery got the job. I applied for it, right? And
then it was Arsene Wenger.
Yeah, when Wenger got the sack,
and
I applied for the Arsenal job, right?
Mm.
And an ex-colleague of mine used to play for Wimbledon, and I was saying to him, "Look, mate, if I get the job, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that they offer you a contract." I said, because I've seen you play and I think you could do a job. Because I'm telling you, mate, the man has got pace to burn, right? I've seen him play and he is quick as anything. It's like, and he's got a good eye for goal, and I reckon he'd unsettle a few defenders. And I'm telling you, if he came up against Bellerin, he would destroy him. And me and several others will with you and take the Arsenal job and get Arteta out. Not sure Terry will agree with that. No, that's true. Thank you, James.
You can't keep everyone happy, Warren. You know, you can't keep everyone happy, Warren. If you have to step on a few toes, including Arteta's, to get to the very top, I support it. Apply for the Arsenal job. It would be funny to see what they say.
I would, I'd send a letter in and say, I'm available. I'm willing to do the job. This is what I need. Blah blah blah. I want to, bring my own backroom staff and all this, and this is what I need.
Maybe you could write. Maybe you could write Mikel Arteta. Maybe you could write Mikel Arteta like a love letter, and then sign it, your secret admirer. You know what I mean?
I think Terry would get too jealous if I did
your
that.
Secret admirer. freak them out. You know what I mean? Freak Arteta out. Arteta then will think he's got a stalker.
Terry would get very upset. He'd get really jealous.
Oh, he likes him, man. He likes him. He has his phone number, right? I text him there. I text him in the night. Aye. Oh, lads. All right, let's see.
Mate,
there should be a Warren trending.
You should need to watch that stream that was on the Claude and the Bansters channel, right? Lee Gunner the other night, and Lee Gunner came on. Guess they were talking about Chig, and then I don't know. Kenny Ken, I love Kenny Ken, and he just set it up beautifully. So he says to Terry, "Well, Terry, it looks like nothing changed after the Tottenham game, didn't it?" And then that was it. It all started. It went on 20, 25 minutes. And Lee Gunner absolutely destroyed him.
Yeah.
Absolutely
he's well up for it. He hates people talking he hates the people. Lee Gunner hates the people that have got carried away with the Spurs victory. The people that are saying that we're, the best team in England and we're going to do we're going to get into the Champions League. He hates people overhyping the team. And that's what everyone is doing.
There's no way on God's earth we're getting in Champions League spots. It ain't going to be happening. Yeah. Honestly, Old School, if we finish in the top half of the table, I will be shocked. I really cannot see us getting in the top half, especially now after all this Newcastle business, because that's another one that we're going to be competing with.
It's going to be difficult. Do you see this comment here? You see the comment here from Estavis? There's a comment up there.
We should sign Ten Hag at the end of the season.
Who is Ten Hag?
I think he's the Ajax coach.
Oh,
he's doing a good job,
I was
man.
Along the lines of a prayer. Okay.
He's got I think he's the one that's got the really good reputation at Ajax of working with the youngsters.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be a good option. Listen, mate, I'd bloody take Roy Hodgson until the end of the season at this point. I think Roy Hodgson would get more out of these players than Arteta would.
And you know who would be good? The Wheelstone Raider, this guy on YouTube, this little skinny fan
that fella.
The Wheelstone Raider, man, he'd get the changing room. He'd get the lads fired up before the game. You know what I mean? They'd be taking the door off the hinges on the way out.
He's a little fella, isn't he? He's about 5'8" or something. Is that right?
Yeah,
the one?
He's got that's him. But he's got fire. He's got fire in both hands, Warren. He's, you know what I mean. He's a good man. He's a good man. He's a good man in a tight situation, as we said earlier.
No, I like. Wow. It's all these fellas, right? And you'd know about this because I know that you sent me something about it the other day. These travellers coming on, calling each other out all the time. You seen that? You've seen it. The travellers coming on, calling each other out.
Yeah, they think.
It's hilarious.
When they're on the internet, they think that it's a DVD. They think it's a DVD. And they're on the internet. They said, "You said to me on the DVD." That's what they say. What DVD? You're on the internet, my friend. Well, look, I know a lot of them. Yeah, I know a lot of them back in Ireland. They're all right.
Yeah.
They're funny guys, but I know a lot of them in Ireland, and they're all right. You take them with a pinch of salt, but they're all right. They're good lads. Some of them are good lads, but they're all right. They're all right. But they're funny, yeah. They're funny.
Yeah, they are. I used to work on the site years ago.
I'm just going to put up a load of comments because James has commented 3 times.
No, it's quality. James is spot on, mate.
The next one, James. I'm the same with Everton. I don't think we'll get Europe this season because our squad depth isn't strong to push us on.
Yeah,
it's going to be a battle for everybody.
That's Everton's big problem is that Mike Bassett might be available for the Arsenal job. You never listen, mate. I'd take Mike
overqualified.
Bassett.
He's overqualified. He's overqualified.
Yeah.
The way things.
I love that film,
Yeah.
by the way.
But
Mike Bassett,
what
England manager. I absolutely love it. It's one of the funniest films I've ever seen, but I'm a massive Ricky Tomlinson fan anyway.
It's funny. What do you think of the best formation for Arsenal? Which formation do you think suits us? And you too, James. Arsenal,
I'm very
Everton, which do you think is the best
formation. I am. I like to tinker. I'm like Claudio Ranieri. I like tinkering, right? So when I'm playing Football Manager or when I used to coach my team, I used to set it up depending on who we were playing, right? So I remember one game in Championship Manager, I had an Arsenal team and we were poor. We weren't a great team. This was about 20 odd years ago, and we didn't have all the big stars in the side and whatnot. And we were playing away at Barcelona, and they had it was like a world 11 basically. So what I did, I played a defensive left winger and a defensive right winger, and then a left back and a right back. So it was like and then I played a counter-attack tactic. So it all depends for me who the opposition is.
Yeah.
So my philosophy is that you set your team up depending on who you're playing against, and that involves personnel. But it's about making sure the team know what their roles are in the team and what to do. And I've now heard two people who have sat near the dugout and told me that when these players are on the pitch, they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. He's shouting stuff out to players when they're on the pitch, right? And they're going, "What
instructions?" They're confused.
What are you talking about? Like, the Ainsley Maitland-Niles is a perfect example. That game against Wimbledon the other night, I was told by a very close friend of mine who was at the game, who was sat near the dugout, said that Arteta was screaming at Ainsley, do this, do that, do the other. And Ainsley turned around to him and said, What are you talking about? I'm doing that. What's wrong with you? Right? The two of them were going at each other. And after the game, I watched the highlights. And the Spurs game, he went around all the players and was hugging all the players. And the one he didn't was Ainsley. I'm telling you, if he can, come January, Ainsley's going to be out of the club. And it'll be James's lot at Everton that will get him. Because I know James really rates him and he wants him at Everton.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah,
somebody chiming it up on the team there.
It's not the only one who's told me stuff like that. So this one, I just don't. I haven't got any confidence in that he knows what he's doing about coaching the players or getting them working on a game plan or getting them prepared properly for games. Because otherwise, why is he needing to run up and down the touchline like a demented bloody chicken on acid or something, like waving his arms around like that and shouting at people?
He's animated. He's very animated. We got a lot of luck in a couple of the games.
It's over the top.
But the goal scoring, but people should bear this in mind. Now I'm just going to bring up another comment from James. But first of all, people should bear in mind there's a real goal scoring problem at the club. There's a real lack of goals. It needs to be addressed. We have a bit of time now until the next two games, but these are major challenges ahead for us. And you better believe it, guys. Patrick Vieira and Crystal Palace, they are well up for it. You'll see now when they come out on the field at the Emirates. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to be playing professional. They're well up for it. The tactics, the strategy, the team selection. Vieira is going to have them up for it. He's relishing it, I'm telling you. And Villa are just a better team than us. It's not about how good or bad we play. They're better. We need to change things up. We're not scoring the goals, man. The goals are not coming. And we're going to struggle against them because they play extremely, extremely strong at the back and the midfield, Villa. I mean, I'm right here, Warren. Villa's defence is uncompromising. They don't take any prisoners. They're just gonna, man, and that's the base for the attack. Ollie Watkins can't do what he does if the defence and the midfield aren't solid. They're solid. They give him the platform to do what he does best, destroy defences. They're solid, Warren. Aston Villa are solid to a man.
The midfield's so important. It is. It's so important, and it needs to be the engine room for the whole team. So what I mean by that, it needs to protect the defence. It needs to create opportunities for the goal scorers to score goals, right? And ours is weak. It's weak, big time. Wait, watch out for Danny Ings as well. Yeah, exactly. Right, ours is weak. Right, we don't score goals. We don't defend the defence properly. Right,
set pieces.
Huh?
Set pieces. We're weak from deliveries.
Yeah, but
Ramsdale has improved it
as well.
Yeah, Ramsdale has improved, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to be interesting. But do you think we can finish in the top 4? I've seen Paul Merson has come out, and he's been very brave in saying that. But I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know, is he watching the team? He's a pundit. Is he just trying to gain a bit of, excitement and get noticed? I think he's trying to get noticed. But to say Arsenal are going to hit top 4, I mean, that is fanciful. Yeah, Paul Merson. It's fanciful.
Paul Merson. Mate, I love Paul Merson.
We're going to hit top 4.
I'd love to have a chat with him and find out why he thinks we're going to get in the top 4. I just don't. I think there is not a chance in hell that we're going to get top 4. When Leslie was saying that on the back of all the euphoria of us slapping Tottenham in that game, whether he said it after that and he was getting overexcited, I don't know, but. I love Paul Merson. He talks a lot of sense about the club, and he's not scared to dig it. He's not scared to dig the club out either. James said the top 4 will be the same as it is now. The battle of the top 6 will be interesting. I don't think United are going to get top 4. I don't. I think if they stick with Ollie. And they probably will, because Newcastle will be able to get a Conte. Because it's going to be like a dream factory for him. He'll be able to go and get whatever he wants, right? I don't think that they'll get top 4, because I think they need a world-class defensive midfield player, and because they ain't got one. And Pogba turns up when he feels like it. But I really like Paul Merson. I really rate him, and I like listening to him. And he digs out the club. I don't know if you've seen that comment. He had an interview with Robbie from AFTV a few years ago, and he'd been a club in Maidstone doing after dinner speaking.
Yeah,
and he made this comment. He said, "When we were at Highbury, the ground had a capacity of 38,000. We had 11 world-class players in the team, 1 to 11, right? We moved to the Emirates that had a capacity of just over 20-odd thousand more, right? We haven't got one world-class player. Why? Where's all the money gone? What's happened with all the money? Why is it we haven't got any world-class players? We're at Highbury that had a 20,000 less capacity and we had 11 of them. We're now at the Emirates and we ain't got one. What's gone on? Why? And he's right. Where's all the money gone? And that, for me, is a big issue. There's a question marks over what's gone on with the club's money. Where's it gone?
Yeah.
The
stadium has been paid off. The stadium has been paid off for a while. Stadium is paid off.
I can't say what I think, right? Because I'll get your channel into trouble.
Okay.
I've got
you can tell me off air, yeah? You can tell me off air.
Yeah, I will tell you off air because I'm pretty convinced I know what's happened. I'm pretty convinced of it because it's the only thing to me that makes any sense. Because why would it be that you had 20,000 bigger capacity and then you weren't able to have one world-class player in the team? Yet when you were at the other place at Highbury that had a capacity of 38 and you were able to have 11 of them.
Less revenue, yeah. Less ticket sales. Yeah.
Huh?
Less revenue, less ticket sales, but we're still able to buy them.
That's what I'm talking about. And in that time as well, the Sky money went through the roof. What's happened to all the money? There's a massive black hole at the club. That's fair as I'm prepared to say on air with you. But I will talk to you about it off the air because
every home game,
I know what's happened.
Every home game is £1 million. When it's a capacity of 60,000 in the stadium, that makes 1 million, guys. Each home game, 1 million. Yeah. So, like Warren said, do the maths.
I don't know how much the revenue is per match. If that's what you're saying, it is.
Ticket sales is a million.
Confidence in what you're saying, but what I do know is there's a 20,000 people difference between the Emirates. 22,000 difference between the Emirates and Highbury, and yet at Highbury we had 11 world-class players, and the Emirates we haven't got one.
I think, you know what I think? Yeah, but you know what I think too? I think it's like, obviously, back at Highbury, things were different. But now, in today's age of football, our club is not marketed as well as Chelsea. That's one thing I notice. Chelsea have like a brand. They're marketed much more positively and dynamic. Also, Spurs. Liverpool, of course, and United, it goes without saying. But Chelsea are like the kings of... They're there in West London and they're promoting the club on many different levels, on many different areas. Arsenal don't tend to be, my opinion, Chelsea seem a lot more professional when it comes to the stuff that goes on in the offices, behind the scenes, the marketing and the management of the club. It seems a bit more fast-tracked. I don't know. Do you feel that way? It seems to me like that.
Yeah, it does. But the thing is, well, when Paul Merson was saying this, we were still qualifying for the Champions League.
Yeah. Yeah, the 50 million, and you get 50 million per qualification.
Something serious going on at that club. And there's only one thing to me that makes any sense about what happened. And like I said, I'm not going to say what it is.
Let's move away.
Because I don't want you getting into trouble.
Yeah, let's move away from that. You can tell me off air. I'll be very interested in hearing it. What do you think about, we'll just finish on this. What do you think the results are going to be in the next two games? How do you see them going? Just the results. What's your prediction? First, the Palace game.
What did they do in their last game, Palace?
Palace, they
drew 2-2 with Leicester.
Yeah, and before that, they drew 1-1 with Brighton, I think. Yeah.
So, they did, because Brighton scored in the last minute.
2 draws. But they mashed Spurs. They battered Tottenham for 3-0.
I think Palace will beat us 1-0 at the Emirates.
I think it's going to be a tough game now. I think it could go that way.
I can't see where the goals are going to come from. If Palace allow us to play the way we did against Spurs in the first half, we'll beat them. But they're not going to do that. They won't.
They're physical, Warren. They're physical, man.
Vieira won't allow that to happen, right? But if it did, by some freak, if it did happen, we'd win the game, right? Maybe 1-0, 2-1, something like that. But given that that's not going to happen, we're going to get overrun in midfield. like we did at Brighton, and we'll lose the game by 1-0. That's what I think will happen. And then the next one, Villa, it's going to be a similar story. They're going to overpower us in midfield. It'll mean we won't be able to create chances. We won't be able to defend the back four properly. And we'll lose the game 1 or 2-0. That's what I think. I just can't see where the goals are coming from. The reason we scored 3 against Spurs is because they were so shockingly bad. Do you know what I mean? That's really sad, and it breaks my heart to say that.
Yeah, they only had 10 players. I mean, Dele Alli didn't put in a shift. He wasn't at the races, and the manager was all at sea. I mean, their coach, he was just kind of resigned to the defeat on the sideline. Even after the second goal, his head went down. You know, the Spurs coach, after the second goal, his head went down. You could see it. And the players, I mean, Kane.
Yeah. You know, I don't understand how they managed to beat Aston Villa, though. That's what I don't understand. Because they beat Villa the next game. I don't know whether he gave them an absolute rocket after the Arsenal game and said, look, you lot need to ship up or I'm going to be shipping you out. Do you know what I mean? I honestly don't. But, no, if both of those games, if we are allowed to play the way we did against Spurs, which I don't think will happen, we will beat them. Definitely. But I can't see that happening. I think the same thing will happen in both games as it did against Brighton. We'll get overrun in midfield. We won't be able to create and we won't be able to defend the back four properly. The back four will be put under so much pressure. And if they get the same amount of chances as what Brighton did, they're going to score, definitely, because they're going to have. They've got better strikers than what Brighton have. You know, and
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I just wanted to ask you something. Have you heard this stuff about Yves Bissouma?
No.
Right. Yves Bissouma has been arrested on suspicion of rape.
What?
Yeah, he's been arrested on suspicion of rape.
What?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
What the hell? What would these guys be doing, man? And they're free. I'm not going to get into it now because I tried to keep my channel PC, but they have money, they have fame, they have a nice house and a nice car. They don't live in the same world as us, fair enough. But I mean, they have different reality, but why do something like that? I mean, that doesn't make any sense because these guys can get good looking women, you know, they're famous. Why do they do things like this? I mean, man.
Yeah, I'm just Googling it. Let's see what he comes up with. Brighton and Hove Albion player arrested on suspicion of sexual assault.
Yes.
So I'm just going to send it to. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Sorry, mate.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, Brighton Star. This is in the Sun, right? By the way, Brighton Star Yves Bissouma bailed after being arrested and marched out of a nightclub at 2 a.m. Right, I'm just going to forward this to you on the WhatsApp.
Yeah, do please.
See it. Right, it's gone. You should have it in a sec.
Yeah, I got it. I have it. It's live. There it is. Yeah.
What's the matter with these lads? I mean, how do they allow themselves to get into these situations?
I don't know, man. What's he doing in a nightclub anyway when everyone's got COVID?
Exactly.
Up here, you know what I mean? People drinking out of other people's glasses. I mean, these days are gone, man. No brainer. Oh my God. What is he like? I mean, these people. Anyway, listen, I'm going to try to keep it PC. Let me think. What was I going to say? Yeah. You see James's comments there. He thinks we're going to get a win against Palace. He thinks the Villa game will be a draw. Just put that up again. I agree with you, though, Warren. I actually agree with James also. But they're going to be close games. I mean, they're going to be tough.
But what last season? Villa slapped us 3-0 at home. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. The defence got absolutely mauled.
Yeah, I remember that day. Claude and the Bansters were doing a watch-along, right? And I remember Claude came onto the stream and started having a go at Terry. And he said to him, yeah, well, we weren't 3-0 down at home to Villa under Unai Emery, were we, Terry?
Exactly.
It was terrible. We were 2-0 down at home to Villa, and Arteta had us playing with 10 men behind the ball. 2-0 down, and he was still playing with 10 men behind the ball.
Time to throw caution to the wind when that's the situation. You have to go all out attack.
I mean, what?
If you lose 10-0, fair enough, but at least you tried. Man, what a muppet. All right. I'm going to wrap it up there, yeah? But stay online. We can talk afterwards. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. James Dunlop, thank you for watching, James. We both appreciate it. It's great having you along on the show. I would also like to thank Stapes from the 3 Pointers. Check out their channel, 3 Pointers TV. And I would also like to thank Sadavis for tuning in also. Check out Warren's channel, guys. It's Warren's Team Talk. Smash the like in this video. Smash the subscribe for me and also for Warren. Don't forget to click on the notification bell, guys. Then you get notified every time the one of us do an upload. We really enjoyed bringing this live stream to you guys. All the best to Arsenal FC. It's going to be an interesting time. I can't wait for the next game, to be honest, and see how the team performs at home. I can't wait for those 2 games. I'm really, it's going to be explosive stuff, guys. Trust me. Keep an eye on our channels. And, that's goodbye from me and goodbye from
me.
Warren. He's still here, guys. All right, guys, take it easy and enjoy the rest of the day and have a great weekend. Take care, guys. All the best.